Hi, my name is Alexis and welcome to my channel. This is very new to me. I am very nervous to do this deep dive about some things that I've experienced and been through to really share my weight loss journey with you all. I'm really nervous. This is a big jump for me. I have attempted to tell my business before on the internet and I didn't really like it. But I do feel a lot of support and pushing from my friends and my family about really sharing my gastric sleeve journey to share my gastric sleeve journey with people who might be interested in the surgery, people who kind of want to learn some things that I went through before and after the surgery, and just to really help people be successful with their pre and post surgery experiences. So again, my name is Alexis. On the internet, I go by I Am Lexceptional because I truly am Lexceptional. So in 2020, I underwent gastric sleeve surgery. At the start of the year of 2020, I was about 435 pounds. That was the highest weight that I saw on scale, but I'm not necessarily sure if that was my highest weight. I was about a 4X in clothing. I could get away with some 3Xs, but at that point I had just started buying 4X clothes, and that was crazy to me. I had an amazing friend who just had a conversation with me, and she was very honest and vulnerable about even her own experiences. And she was like, Alexis, I think it's time that you get the gastric sleeve surgery. She had also had the surgery, and so she had kind of known just what it's like being a big girl and just really not tapping into who you are because you have insecurities holding you back. And for her, she saw in me that I was truly holding myself back. She always called me beautiful. She always encouraged me to go out on dates and things like that, but I had a lot of insecurities tied to my weight that I didn't really allow myself to flourish. And so I was like, I'm thinking about it, slowly looking up information, slowly thinking, really processing getting the surgery or not. And she actually called my mama. I had a whole conversation with her about the surgery, and then together they discussed, again, just looking into the surgery, doing a deeper dive. And again, I went to the doctor. I saw that 435 on the scale, and I was like, it's time. It's time. At the time, I did not have any health issues, and ultimately I really didn't want to have any health issues, and so I knew that if I were to continue down the path that I was already going down, that at some point I was going to develop something. And so for me to be that size and I didn't have asthma, I didn't have breathing issues, I didn't have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, though sometimes it would spike when I went to the doctor. I wasn't on any medications for anything, and so again, I knew if I continued down that path that I was going to be on something, and I was going to have something. So I started looking up surgeons. I was also not insured at the time. I was self-employed and just didn't have insurance. So I was really nervous about how do you pay for something like this? And so my mom was like, Alexis, don't worry about the payment part. I'll pay cash. Just find you somebody that you want to go to so that we can get you started on this journey. And so when my mom said that, I'm from Atlanta, and at the time I was living in Atlanta. I started looking at doctors there, and I started looking at that cash price. And typically surgery was between $20,000 and $30,000, whether you're going to the hospital to get it or going to weight loss surgeons in Atlanta. That was kind of the going rate. And I started watching some YouTube videos, and really just taking a deep dive into like, what is this surgery, one, and then what are some other places you can get it. Mexico came up, other countries came up. And so I started looking heavily into like Texas and Mexico. And then I came across a doctor in Tennessee, Alabama. I came across a doctor in Alabama, and I saw a lot of reviews, great reviews about his work. I called, I set an appointment. It was also closer. So like I was also thinking about like I would have to fly to get to Texas or Mexico, and like what that downtime would look like after surgery, which I really, was still learning about the surgery, so I wasn't sure how soon I could get on a plane. And so when I found the doctor in Alabama, I called and he said, well, we can do the surgery whenever you want. Just come in, let's take a look at some things. But this is also during COVID. So I ended up doing a virtual appointment with him for my first appointment. And we went over my weight. I got on a scale with him so he could see my weight on the scale. We discussed, he was very surprised that I didn't have any health issues. And he kept saying like, we probably should take care of this sooner rather than later, because I am surprised that for you at this size, you have 0 health issues. And I was like, yeah, like I like to eat, but I really don't. In my head, I didn't eat as much. I knew I wasn't really active, but I didn't feel like I was just like always gorging myself. Like I genuinely felt like maybe some other things could be wrong too. I know previously I'd also gone to a doctor who said like, baby, your metabolism is slow. And so like those are things I could just add on the weight. And so my doctor was down. Typically when you pay cash, you don't necessarily have to do the diet to prepare you for surgery. But with it being COVID and with my doctor really wanting me to get the best results, he asked me to stick to the diet for about 3 months. So our first conversation took place in February, and he wanted me to do the diet for 3 months, leading to me booking the surgery for May 18th. May 18th. I had my surgery May 18th, 2020. So I did just that. I told my friends that I was getting the surgery. My mom, my dad, my sisters, my friends knew, my friend Jody knew. And so everyone worked out with me. Everyone pushed me. Everyone tried to assist me in like the losing weight process, preparing for surgery. So like there's a time where you kind of like do the post-surgery diet like backwards. So you slowly wean off like the fatty foods and things that you eat to a very lean diet, to eventually you go down to solid liquids. You go on a liquid diet for about 2 weeks before surgery. I believe it's a week. I know I did mine for 2 weeks because I knew coming off the surgery you have to do liquids for about 2 weeks. So I wanted to kind of really experience that because I wanted the best results. So I did just that. I did the diet. I found these really great shakes and like meal replacements that I was drinking. I believe the brand is called Celebrate. I'll post it right here. I bought these shakes and I would mix them with almond milk or water. And that's what I would drink as like a meal replacement, especially when I was on that liquid diet. I would also have smoothies and lots of soup. Now, I'm telling you, I had this surgery in May, and I'm in Atlanta, so it's hot. It's hot outside, and I'm over here eating soup, and I'm not really a soup girl. So there's the sacrifices that you have to naturally make to prepare for surgery. So I did just that. So look, right? I bought this. It's technically a dress. It's just hella short. / I'm growing an ass. But this used to not be able to fit. I've officially lost 25 pounds on quarantine, and I'm so proud of myself. I just want to share that with y'all. Okay, bye. And on the day of my surgery, my mom and I drove to Alabama for the actual surgery. And when I went to my weigh-in, remember I was 435. On the day of surgery, I was 397. So I lost a nice amount of weight beforehand, and my doctor was so excited for me. He was excited to do the surgery. He was really proud of me for the weight loss that I did during that time. And in his mind, he wanted me to lose like 20 pounds during those 3 months to kind of like get me there. So it's like, if she can do this, she'll be successful afterwards. But because I had lost almost 40 pounds, he was very, very impressed and very excited to work with me. And so with it also being COVID, my mom went with me to get the surgery, but she couldn't be with me. So we stayed in a hotel near the hospital. My doctor's office, it was like the hospital was right here. Then there was like a doctor's office right here with like a parking lot in the center. And so he was literally like across from the hospital. So my mom dropped me off to the hospital, or let me take it back. We explored, we went to the doctors, he gave us all the approvals, ran the final test for me to get the surgery, and then he gave us a prescription for a few things that I needed to take before surgery and then some items to have after surgery. So we picked all of that up. That night I was still on liquids as far as eating, and so I think we went to a Chinese restaurant and I had like soup again for dinner and a red Gatorade. I'll never forget the Gatorade. And like that was it. The next day, couldn't eat anything. Going into surgery, I believe I woke up at 4. I had to be at the hospital by 5. And I legit had to walk in by myself. Like, it was COVID, so no one could be with you. I had to go in, I had to check in, do all the paperwork and stuff by myself. They pull you back to your room, they make you change, and they take you to this other room and they like give you the anesthesia stuff. They make you laugh. They were just so funny. And then like slowly you get wheeled into surgery. My surgery started at 6 a.m. And so yeah, I went on under and I got the gastric sleeve. I want to say it took about 40 minutes to do the surgery or to complete the surgery. I woke up, like I was out before 7 and I think I was up by 8 a.m. My mom was like still asleep when I was done with surgery. They did call her and let her know that I was out of surgery and in the room. And then I woke up, I think maybe 30 minutes after my surgery. And they immediately, once you're up, they want you to get up and walk around. So I was up, walking around. Every time I got up, a nurse would come into the room and kind of walk with me. I would walk laps around like the hospital, like floor, I guess, that I was on, just to make sure I was okay. Now, things felt numb, okay? Like, I'm gonna be real honest with you. Things felt numb. I am a giggly person. I love a laugh. I love to laugh. I love to make people laugh. And it hurt to laugh. I mean, like, immediately. Like, something happened and I like giggled and I was like, oh, what? No, hold up. It literally felt like my whole side, like, like my whole body was just shaking. And I hadn't really processed, like, with the gastric sleeve surgery, if your stomach is this big, they basically cut majority of your stomach out and leave a section. So for me, they have cut out all of this and left this, right? That's all that's left in my stomach. I'm not processing that they have now cut something in cut me to cut this and then take that out. And so when I'm laughing, it hurts. It does. It hurt, okay? So that was immediately like, what's happening? Breathing was easy, and they do give you like a contraption to help you breathe a little bit, and just to test, to make sure everything is okay with your breathing after surgery. And honestly, I was out of the hospital by noon. So again, I had my surgery. My surgery started at 6. I was out before 7, up walking around by 8, and literally out of the hospital by noon. And it was great. I went back to the hotel. Again, my mom had me walking around. I was moving slow, trying not to laugh because it hurt to laugh. I remember I sneezed and cried. Like, it was the worst. But, and I cannot explain it. Like, I've never been punched before. So I don't even know, like, if you get punched in your stomach, if that, like, I don't know. But it is indescribable, but it hurt. So yeah, that was me getting the surgery. So the next day, and I just kind of chill, relax. My doctor calls me a few times throughout the day to check on me, to make sure I'm okay. I was perfect. I was fine. So we just went about our day. I remember I drank, again, red, like Gatorade, and actually I think it was sugar-free Powerade and a lot of water. My mom also brought me some more like chicken broth soup, and I had that, but ultimately that was it. I really wasn't hungry, but the goal was to really just continue to get liquids and like really water down in my system. And so that's what we did. The very next day, I went to my doctor's office. They looked at everything. Everything looked good. I felt good. So then we were discharged. So like officially, again, I left the hospital by noon. The next day, we got the go-ahead to drive back to Atlanta. And so we did just that. We hit back to Atlanta. Y'all, my mama hit a pothole. And when I say I felt that in my side, I remember just turning and looking to my mom with like tears coming down my face because it hurt so bad. Any like quick movement was like a jolt of pain. And it was right here, and it hurt. So I cannot describe the pain, but it hurt so bad. And it was temporary. They do give you pain medication for you to take. My friend who also had the surgery told me, she said, do not take the pain medication. My mom had also said, like, if you need it, take it, but I just recommend that you don't take it. Like, try your best not to take the pain medication. And I think their reasoning behind it was like you can heal faster without taking it. And also just like sometimes people get addicted to things like that. I don't have an addictive personality per se. However, I did have an eating problem. So like high key, I could have an addictive personality, if that makes sense. Like I love food. So I didn't take any of the pain medications, which I believe was a Percocet or Percocets they gave me, but didn't take any of them. And yeah, I made it back to Atlanta and everything was cool. So I make it back to Atlanta. Again, besides my mom's driving, everything was fine. I stayed with my mom for, I believe, 1 or 2 nights. And then I went back to my apartment and was just sticking to like my diet and things there. And so everything was great. Before I left for my surgery, I went through my entire apartment. I threw out snacks. I threw out foods and things that I knew that I couldn't eat, shouldn't eat. So by the time I came back home, I also went grocery shopping before, so I had things that I knew that I could eat. And that was like protein shakes, meal replacement shakes. Again, you go on a liquid diet right after you have surgery. So yeah, it was great. I was also drinking the Celebrate meal replacement shakes, as well as various protein shakes. So my friend who had also had the surgery, she gave me some pointers, okay? She said, if you extend all the diets that you have to take after surgery, you might get better results, right? So after surgery, you're supposed to go on a liquid diet, soft foods diet, and then you move to regular foods. Typically, you're on liquids for 2 weeks, liquids for either a week or 2 weeks, soft foods for 2 weeks, and then you move to regular foods. So listening to my friend's logic, I do liquids for 3 to 4 weeks, then soft foods for about a month, 4 weeks. Then I move on to regular foods. This is what got me, right? Because also within like that 2-week period as well, after your liquids, you're supposed to incorporate vitamins. I didn't, because I was still doing my liquid diet by the time I was supposed to incorporate vitamins. Again, I extended the diets, and honestly, it was great. Within my first 2 months, I lost 100 pounds. Like, weight was dropping off of me. It went from literally this to this. Snatched, boo. Okay, the weight was falling off, going everywhere but on his body. Okay, it was great. I was so happy with my results. I was more motivated to go for walks. My friends would come pick me up, and we would go for walks at like Stone Mountain. We would walk around my building. We would walk around Atlantic Station. And again, this is COVID, so like people had a little bit more free time. So it honestly was a lot of fun. And I'm like really trying to stick to this diet. And so honestly, the liquids part was easy breezy. Even extending it, it was easy breezy. Now, by the time I got to soft foods, things started happening. One, I don't like soft foods. I have consistency and texture issues. And anything the consistency is of applesauce is gross. My tongue doesn't like it. And so before surgery, I was already apprehensive about the soft food portion of the diet, because again, like I know myself. I'm not even like a mashed potatoes girl. Like I can have mashed potatoes like once a year, and they need to be good like first bite, or I might not even have them again that year or the next year. Like mashed potatoes have to be cooked correctly. And if it has some skin, like potato skin in it, perfect. If not, again, just have to be cooked correctly. I don't know. I don't like the consistency of anything that's like the consistency of baby food. I don't know why. I do know why. I didn't like baby food as a kid. Consistency. So I was like very apprehensive about this portion of the diet. My friend and some other friends were like, well, if you just eat a piece of chicken and just chew it up, just keep chewing, and make it thin and soupy and all the things before you swallow it, that could work too. I was like, okay, we can try fruit, you know? So my liquid phase really wasn't extended as much. I kind of extended the liquid portion a little bit longer again, because I was really trying to hurry about this soft food phase. I didn't like it. My mom would make like mashed sweet potatoes for me, and I would like really try, and I can't eat a lot. So like when I say, I will never forget, my mom gave me a plate that had 3 grapes and a chicken wing on it, and like a wingette. And I don't think I finished the plate. That's how much food I could eat. 3 grapes and a chicken wing. That's it. And I couldn't finish it. So like, to put things into perspective, like when your stomach is tiny, babes, you cannot take in a lot. And so with that, again, I'm just dropping weight as I go. And I'm also not taking in enough nutrients because I'm not eating enough. And so with this also, remember earlier I mentioned vitamins. I did not start my vitamins when I was supposed to.
Find your loving, I better find your heart. I better find your loving, I better find your heart. I better find your loving, I better find your heart. I better give all my love, and nothing's gonna tear us apart.